Leave Billified a voicemail anytime on the Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram line at 585-206-8866.
Hey, Bill, I was just listening to you guys talk about Ian Ziering getting in a fight with that biker gang in L.A. I don't think it was a biker gang. By the way you're describing everything, it sounds more like he was beating up on a bunch of Shriners. See ya.
And be sure to like and subscribe to
That's what it looks like.
Did you see the bikes?
Yes.
It got a lot of national attention today. At one point, he does get kind of dragged across the street, but it seems like they bumped him. He released a statement, and I guess there's these roaming gangs, but they're not on even what I would call a traditional dirt bike. They look like somebody just went into a fabrication shop, bent a couple of pipes, threw some tires and a shitty motor on it, and they're riding around.
You're in a gang.
Yeah.
Like you could have bought them.
But there is section. One guy had a shirt that said like it had the L.A. highway sign. Is it 506 or something on there? So I don't know.
Area code.
They call probably
right.
So I have
it's not the Black Widows of Philo Beno in any which way but loose.
I'm going when I when I hear the headline. I knew guys in the Hells Angels. Mm-hmm. I used to, I would see these guys. I was at a particular bar, and one of the guys' wives worked there. She was a bartender. He would show up. His knuckles would be all bloody because he had just taken care of some business. You know what I mean? And I went, there's no way Ian Ziering, who's 59 years old, is going to handle, I don't give a shit if the guy's 65. He's in a gang. He's probably going to kick the shit out of him. And by the way, we said that Gabrielle, what's her name?
Cartiris.
Today, as we tape this, is her 63rd birthday.
Oh, wow.
Do you remember that show?
63.
My
She's
sister
63.
loved that show.
But that just
the older girl?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
The smart one, remember?
You know what? She's getting in the wheelhouse, buddy.
She is.
Come on, Dougie Doug. Come on, Dougie Fresh.
You know it.
She's getting in the wheelhouse.
She's almost got that Social Security check coming. Cash it and go golfing.
Didn't she have a talk show briefly at one point?
Yes, she did. That's right. Boy, I don't even remember that. Look at you.
It was short-lived. So did Tempest Bledsoe from The Cosby Show.
Oh, really?
Tempest. And it didn't last very long.
Well, they usually, some of them don't.
Yeah.
They're hard to do.
Oh, yeah.
They're hard to do because you got a lot of people.
Remember when Jay Moore used to make fun of Ricky Lake on Saturday Night Live?
Yes.
We don't judge people on this show. Go, Ricky.
Ricky was like a kind of groundbreaking, though, when you think about it. She was young, doing a talk show that really appealed to young, and then Jerry just came in and swept it all up.
Killed everybody.
Ricky Lake was on for a while, wasn't she?
She was. Yeah. I mean, she did well.
Yeah,
that was a big
Ricky, Oprah,
Yep.
Ellen DeGeneres.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who else had
Rosie O'Donnell.
Mike Donahue was kind of the guy.
Oh,
How about
Phil Donahue.
Phil Donahue. Mike Douglas was
Mike
the guy.
Douglas,
Mike
yes.
Douglas show. I remember the Mike Douglas. That was more of a variety show.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
What's
show?
up, Tiger Woods?
He had Kiss on one time.
Yes. Yes, he did.
He had Tiger Woods on at 3 years old.
Yes,
Yeah.
I remember that too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But holy
Right,
cow.
I've seen the clip.
But the Ricky Lake show really kind of like set the stage for Jerry Springer.
I think you're right. I would
Like
say,
Oprah was more sophisticated
Geraldo.
talk.
Geraldo.
How can we forget Geraldo?
He might have been the guy
you
to
know
do
what?
it for everybody.
They had that one fight, and that's what spun.
Yeah. And then who
Jerry
was the other guy
Springer.
that smoked a lot?
Oh, Morton Downey Jr.
Morton Downey.
Jr. Yeah.
Morton Downey. Is it Morton or Robert?
No, it was Robert Downey Jr.
No,
I
it was
think
Morton. It was Morton Downey Jr.
With the teeth?
Yes.
Yeah. Look it up because I can't remember.
WOR out of New York. It was
Yeah,
a New York-based talk show.
And he used to yell at people and get in their face. And he was another one that looked like he would get on people's faces. I go, buddy, you look like you're a...
Yeah, Morton Downey Jr.
Yeah,
They had him at WrestleMania 5.
Yes.
And because Vince McMahon was obsessed, anything that came out of New York, he would put on wrestling. And so they had him on Piper's Pit. And they brought back Roddy Piper. And he used a fire extinguisher when he tried to light up a cigarette and like started lighting him on with a fire extinguisher. It was hysterical.
There is a new game show that premieres as we tape this, but will be available on Hulu tomorrow. It is hosted by Rob Lowe, and it is called The Floor.
Our generation of Dick Clark.
Yeah.
That guy never ages.
It's true.
Welcome
It's true.
to the most epic game show ever created. This is The Floor. 81 players will go head-to-head in a trivia duel.
Cereal.
Bugs. Horror movies.
The winner
You've done it.
takes control of their opponent's floor.
Turn it up. Bring it on.
I'm here to win some money.
$250,000?
So the more floor you conquer, the more of a target you become. The biggest territory is on the line.
I'm in danger.
You do not know a lot about tools.
Let the duel begin.
Pliers, wrench, air blower. Staying cool under pressure is a big part of this game.
Don't get in her way.
Jerry Maguire.
Yes!
Pointer sisters.
You can run. Whoa! But you can't hide. You ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Absolutely.
Let's light it up.
Rob Lowe hosts The Floor.
Now, I don't know what to think because Rob Lowe's been on every TV show from serious to sitcom. He was the one, wasn't it him and Fred
he played
Savage?
Baby Moses in the Ten Commandments. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't know that.
Did he really?
He was the baby in the no.
Oh.
But it sounds believable.
It does sound believable. He was in The Outsiders.
But you remember
Yes.
there was a short-lived show called The Grinder where he yeah, I know. It sounds really funny. But Rob was a lawyer. No, he was an actor who played a lawyer, and Fred Savage was his brother who was really a lawyer, and their father was a lawyer. There was a family law practice, and Rob can't find work, so he comes to act as a lawyer at the law. It was one of these shitty sitcoms, but Rob was pretty good in everything he did.
Yeah.
He was. You know what I love him in? Tommy Boy.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking loved him in Tommy
Yes.
Boy.
Well, there's a funny story about
And that was sort of his comeback, by the way.
Yeah, because
that was
he-
right after the videos.
Yeah, he got into trouble for a while, and then he sobered up. Then he comes on Tommy Boy, and he tells David Spade, they're going to a bar. He goes, don't tell Farley.
Yeah.
So they go out to the bar, and Farley finds out about it. Christopher, hey, so I heard you and Rob Lowe were out last night. Weren't you, Spade? You don't tell anybody? And he's like breaking Spade's balls throughout the movie when they're trying to film. They get into an argument, and then they end up like laughing about it, and then
Well, I think there was a while, from what I read, it got ugly to the point where they weren't talking for a little bit on the set.
I didn't know it went
Yeah,
that far.
because like Farley was very hurt that he wasn't included in this.
Yeah, because Rob Lowe told, don't tell Farley.
I wonder why don't tell Farley.
I don't know.
Other than his consumption of.
Well, maybe because like he wanted to keep a low profile, and Farley is one of these guys who they said every time he go out would fake a heart attack to try to get chicks to talk to him. That was the story. I don't know.
Doug,
He's got a following. What?
Doug, could you try that?
What's that? I missed it.
Fake a heart attack to get chicks to talk to you.
No.
I'm going to call Tommy Mack. He is a Rochesterian who is going to be on the show.
You know what else Rob Lowe does? Atkins commercials.
Yeah, he does.
Hello?
Mr. Mack, it's the Billified podcast. How are you?
I'm doing fine, Mr. Bill. How are you doing?
I am doing very well. I have, we do video with this podcast, and we have a nice little picture of you up on the video where you have a glass of wine. It's a very cool black and white shot. Where did you get that done? It's on your Facebook page. I stole it.
So that is actually from, are you familiar with Genesee Country Village and Museum?
Yes.
Yeah.
So my wife and I went to their fundraiser a few years back and took my what I like to refer to as my bearded Telly Savalas picture and made it in black and white, so it actually you can have one.
Who loves you, baby?
He looks. Yes, it was. Who loves you, baby? But let me tell you, he looks like, you know how they say like the coolest man in the world, or the most interesting man in the world. He's got a glass of wine, a cigar. It's a black and white shot. It's good. He's got shades on. It looks good.
He's wearing an ascot.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
It looks good. All right, tell me about this game show, The Floor, and I guess we should start with, how did you find out to even audition?
So I had decided that I was going to go ahead and try to see what's out there and stick my foot in like the acting game, if you will. So I signed up for a few casting networks online, and one of them was just for a game show. And it was a no-name game show, but all it said was new game show, and it's on a major network. It still wasn't picked up, but all expenses paid, and you just got to come out and you have to have a valid passport. And
that was it. So there was no audition. There was no, like, you didn't have to do, like Jeopardy. They put you through a lot of quizzes. I've talked to guys who've been on the show, and you have to do a lot of almost online stuff before they even get you in. And then I think you have to sit with the producer, and then you get on the show. So this is just, we're casting the net. We're taking anybody.
Well, basically what it came down to was that part came afterwards.
Okay.
So basically it's just an online application. You send it in, you send in like a face shot and everything. That was one of the pictures that you have up on the screen. That's actually what I submitted.
Oh.
And
right.
I was out on an assignment for work, and I get this random text from a
number from California, and obviously I automatically think that it's going to be a, telemarketer or whatever. But they called and I talked to the person directly, and they said, "Do you have time tonight to go through a little interview and a little audition?" And I said, "Sure." And later on that evening, I pulled up my computer and I was playing this game that had no name at that time, and it was intense.
Really?
To say the yes.
What kind of? It's a trivia game, right? Where you go head to head with another person.
Yes. So there's 81 contestants. I was number 40 out of 80, and we're on the floor.
Uh-huh.
And what happens is the first initial challenge is picked by what they refer to on the show as the randomizer, and those two will go up, and you have a screen in front of you, and the other person has a screen in front of them, and whatever the category is that's being challenged at that point, you go back and forth. You have 45 seconds, and whoever doesn't have any time left loses.
Okay.
It's really intense. It's trivia, but it's more trivia based on pictures and words. Some of the categories were kind of like fill in the blank.
Gotcha. So I know you can't probably say a lot about the show.
Sure you can.
Well, let me ask you this. Did your wife ask you if Rob Lowe is as pretty in person as he is on TV?
Let's just put it this way. Not only my wife, but every other female in my family.
That's how he keeps getting work.
Every other female that has been on
Bankable to women.
But I will say this.
Yeah.
I am a 100% heterosexual male, and he is a beautiful, beautiful man. He's got the most piercing blue eyes you have ever seen in your life.
Wow.
So I'm just saying, if they said to you, you could win this, but you got to turn gay for 5 minutes, for 45 seconds. No, I'm kidding.
I can't take my clothes off in 45 seconds.
That's funny because what is Rob, 60 now?
Yeah, he's in his 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he just turned 60.
God.
Mr. St. Elmo's Fire.
Yeah, St. Elmo's
Banging
Fire.
everything.
He was doing it all. And we were just listing all the shows, and I thought he was sort of ostracized after the video with him and an underage girl who he didn't know at the time. But and he came out and owned it. I'm pretty sure. But it was Tommy.
He turned it all around.
It was. I thought it was Tommy Boy was sort of his comeback after that, and it wasn't it Bo Derek who was his
wife. Yeah,
wife in that. Yeah,
absolutely. Wow.
Yeah, that's funny. That's very funny.
Brothers don't shake hands.
Brothers hug.
He was also in the first Wayne's World movie too.
Yeah,
he was the
He
antagonist.
gets tons of cameos. I was just looking him up. He's probably got 100, if not more.
He was a bad guy.
It was almost like he was just taking. You go from St. Elmo's Fire to Wayne's World, or Austin Powers, whatever he's doing. It's nutty, isn't it? So now he's doing this game show, and boy, they're putting a lot behind this. Fox is, and I've seen a bunch of promos for it, and I know it'll be rerun on Wednesday, January 3rd on Hulu. Are you having a watch party?
Well, actually, I became a friend with quite a few of the contestants, and they're from all over the country. Some of them actually were from Ireland. They were expats in Ireland, but that's another story. But that's actually where they filmed the game show.
Is it a party for everybody that didn't make it out of the first round?
Hang on a second. They filmed the game show in Ireland?
Yes, they did. They filmed the game show in Ireland.
Wow.
Tax breaks, right?
Yeah.
I would assume.
So that was one of the reasons. So if you ever look at some of these game shows now that ask you for or that you're applying to, a lot of them will say that you need to have an active passport, because a lot of producers are getting a lot of tax incentives to film in Ireland at their sound stations.
That's crazy. Think about that. It's cheaper for a production company to fly you to Ireland, put you up at a hotel for Ireland, 2-3 days, fly you back, feed you, than it is to keep you in the United States.
So, did you go to the Guinness factory?
Jameson? Did you go to Jameson? Wait, was this in Dublin?
It was in Dublin.
Yeah, Dublin was. I don't know right now, but I knew for a while there we're trying to do a lot of pulling people from other countries, incentivizing young people to come and find jobs and live. And I think they were giving you, and I think even Rochester has done this at some point, $10,000 if you came and worked here, and or some kind of
for at least 5 years or something like that.
Yeah,
Something pay like people to stay.
And I think they were, I think they were doing that in Dublin, and now look at this. This is
we could move our podcast to Dublin and drink all the Jameson and Guinness we want.
I would go that in a minute. I would do that. I still have family over there.
What do we start packing?
So, wow,
you're usually on the floor. You're gonna crush.
Well, I think this is interesting. So so they did the full season already. Do you know? Are you allowed to say this? Do you know who the winner is?
I am not allowed to say who the winner is.
No, I know you're not allowed to say, but do you,
or how you did. You can't even say how you did.
You can't say how you did either.
I can't say how I did. What I can tell you is my category was space.
Okay.
Space or face?
So basically, the way that they described it was things that are found in space.
Okay.
And how I ended up with that category, I have no clue.
Okay.
But everybody kind of has their own area of expertise. But there are going to be some very interesting categories when you watch the show, and if you watch the show from week to week to week, you're going to be like, where did they come up with that? Where did they come up with it? And one thing I will tell you about being on a game show and finally, having that under my belt is, it's one thing to be in your living room and sitting on the couch and yelling at the screen, and you know every single answer. But the moment you're on a soundstage,
it's over.
And you got cameras on you, and you got Rob Lowe and his piercing blue eyes staring at you.
Dreamweaver, I believe you can get
Let's do it for Johnny, man. Let's do it for Johnny.
Johnny, we beat the Socials. We chased him right out of the park.
Soda Pop Curtis. Now you're into role playing in Ireland. Nobody will ever know, I promise. Lights on or off? On. I got to watch your eyes. At least in the mirror. Sorry.
Well, I got to think that pressure alone. Was there a live studio audience as well?
Yes, there was a live studio audience.
Did Bono show up? Did Bono show up? Or The Edge?
Oh, I wish.
Or Larry?
How about Dominic from Real World 2? Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember that guy?
Yes.
I come from Dublin.
So Tommy, where do you live in? What town do you live in?
I live in Canandaigua.
Okay, so you're down in Canandaigua, and boy, this is a big deal. You said this all started because you wanted to dabble in acting.
Yes.
Has that gone any further because of this? Have you made contacts because of being on Fox's The Floor?
I've made actually quite a few contacts to kind of open the door a little bit for to kind of get that feel for being on a soundstage and production, and I've actually gone to send in more self audition tapes for television shows like The Last of Us season 2. And
the what season 2?
The Last of Us.
Oh,
The Last of Us.
Okay, yeah.
And Stranger Things season 5, which now that they're starting to film all that stuff, they're looking for more people to fill background roles. But I still have a day job. I'm still an engineer. But if I can make a paycheck by being a background guy or even having a bit part somewhere, by all means, I'll do it.
Well, yeah, I think that's interesting. I don't know that I've known anybody to do it. Now, I will say that the guys had a little different trajectory, but Robert Forster, the actor who's passed, did a lot of great movies. I think won an Oscar.
He's nominated for an Oscar.
Nominated?
Foxy Brown.
He was a teacher.
Don't you know somebody that made a movie in Rochester?
He was a teacher. Yeah, not award-winning, though. But I think Robert Forster was a teacher, and then he went on to be in many, many movies.
He was in The Black Hole, I believe.
Yeah, he was. But I think he was a teacher here in Rochester, originally from Rochester. Yes, Doug Phelps has made a movie.
We'll get
called-
to it sooner or later. That's your
The Alphabet
resolution.
Killer.
Yes,
To watch that this year.
movie. One Night at the Cat.
No, it's A Night of the Cat, not One Night. Oh gosh,
A night. One night. A night. You're right. It is A Night at the Cat.
it's going to be
My
called
bad.
On the Floor.
On the floor and buried behind the bookcase. Collecting dust on the floor.
That's about it.
Well, I think this is exciting, and I'm going to watch tomorrow. And if I see you on there, I'm going to pull some audio and play it back on the podcast, and maybe we bother you again.
I certainly do appreciate it, and maybe next time I'll get to sit in that studio of yours because that's actually really cool.
Yeah.
I used to listen to you when you're on the radio, so I'm glad actually that you've given me an opportunity to talk to you on your podcast.
Well, I would, yes, and I would love to have you in the studio. That would be fun. And download the podcast. You can get it anywhere you get podcasts: Apple, Google, Amazon, Spreaker, iHeart. They got them all. So
You're all over the place, buddy.
Anywhere you get podcasts, you can get it.
Syndicated.
Dweezer. It's on there. So, Tommy, best of luck. And I think this is very exciting. Your family's got to be really, really pumped to see all this stuff.
They definitely are, and I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for having me on there, Bill.
All right. Congratulations. Go watch the show. I think it's about to start. I think it is. That's pretty cool.
That is
It
cool.
is.
Yeah.
It's amazing the tax breaks.
I didn't know
Ireland.
anything about that. I didn't know that they were doing. Now, it is interesting because we know somebody who produces some reality TV shows.
Yeah, we do.
And when they did Teen Mom Reunion, they did it in Mexico at a resort, I believe. Same kind of deal, I think, for the for the tax breaks and things. Yeah.
You know where the state of Georgia too is becoming like a new
I was going to say
Hollywood.
Georgia. I was listening to another radio station today. That was their Wikipedia. How many TV shows and movies have been filmed down there?
Yeah, Atlanta. Well, that's where what's his name has his whole production company. Tyler Perry.
Oh, okay.
What was that? He's a billionaire.
Tyler Perry
He's
presents Georgia,
richest
the
celebs.
state of Georgia.
Some of the stuff. I went to see a Tyler Perry movie.
Medea goes to jail.
No. This is legit. I forget what it was.
Oh, that movie's legit too.
It was, but I mean, this was like somewhat of a serious concept, and I liked it up to a certain point. And I go, every single thing he writes becomes a piece of shit, in my opinion, at the end.
The Family that Prays, was that the movie?
No, but I loved all the shows. Like he did the Browns. I love that show. What was the one with the? I forget. There was another one I always enjoyed too. Was the Tyler Perry production. So some of his stuff was there, but the movie just took this turn. It was like this couple, and they fell in love, and somebody cheated and got AIDS.
Oh, it's one. Oh,
yeah.
gosh.
But then
Okay.
the way it went from there, it just was like, all right, yeah, come on, man. You could have done so much with this, and I felt like he fell short.
I'll look him up in a second. But a couple of young roles for Rob Lowe. Remember Class?
I don't.
He was a college student, and his mother was Jacqueline Bissett, and has an affair with his roommate.
His roommate's mom, right?
Yeah, no, his mom. It was Matthew Modine, or not Matthew Modine.
Yeah, Matt.
McConaughey?
No,
No,
it might have been Modine. But so that guy had an affair with Rob Lowe's mom in the movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably because
I remember
something I can relate to. St. Elmo's Fire, Youngblood is a big hockey movie.
Youngblood.
About last night with Jim Belushi. That was Demi Moore. That was hot back then. That was 1986.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the guy at the time, he was a big actor, and then that's the thing where he showed up just taking anything, but I think it showed that he didn't take himself so seriously,
Right.
to exclude himself, and he really performed well in those roles. I thought he was great in Tommy Boy. I know
He was the perfect foil.
Yeah,
and then he gets Wayne's World.
Yeah.
Or I think maybe Wayne's World was before or after. They were very close, but I mean the same era. But I mean, like he had a major role in Wayne's World.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. All right,
Reminds me of somebody we know.
who's that?
He always looked like Kevin Legret.
Rob Lowe?
Yeah, you don't think so?
No.
Maybe I didn't see Kevin enough, but
No.
I always, for some reason, I always made that connection.
No, but Kevin would love to hear that.
Okay.
Kevin, Jean-Claude Van Damme told Kevin he should be in movies.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he'll tell you.
Oh, okay.
Kevin Muir?
No. No.
That guy couldn't kick the shit out of a big man. You know they're coming out with a new Karate Kid. This is no joke.
What?
I was looking for 2024 movies coming out.
Come on.
My buddy wanted to go. We used to go to movies every Tuesday, and then the pandemic happened. And he goes, I don't even know what's out. And I went through the list of AMC, and there wasn't really anything else that grabbed me. But Deadpool 3, there's a new Karate Kid coming out with Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan.
Oh, really?
Somehow they're
it's
a good franchise.
Wait, Jackie Chan.
It was in the remake.
Yeah.
So somehow this is coming off. It was rumored that Ralph Macchio had lost all his money through gambling, and he was going to start doing porn. It was going to be the Karate Kid porn episode, and the first movie was called Wax On, Wax Off.
We'll
take a great joke.
Yeah. I mean, you know what the problem is?
What?
You got gullible sitting across from me. He's going, wait.
No, I learned in the second segment. Second segment, no.
This doesn't work. My dick down there.
We'll take a moment, but first.